Lord our God, we come to you as a little flock, asking you to accept us and keep us as your own, whom you will redeem in your time. Protect us always so that we remain strong in faith. Strengthen us. We entrust ourselves to your hands. Be with us, Lord our God, through your Spirit. All this we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. At magandang Lunes mga katribu. Welcome sa paborito nyo kasama tuwing umaga ang Gising Na! At ako po si Coffee Manalo. Mapapanood nyo po kami araw-araw live sa Daily TV's Facebook page and simulcast on Radyong Bandido TV at DZRJ 810 AM.
At syempre, good morning and I am back live on the set. Syempre, ako po si Kim Sancha na maghahatid sa inyo ng hottest and latest showbiz and lifestyle news sa loob at labas ng ating country.
Magandang gising, mga katribo! Dapat siguro sa akin ko sabihin yun, gising, gising, gising. At syempre, ako naman ang binibini, hailing from Marinduque. Si Chinky Mangkukang po. Ngayon ay araw ng Lunes. Ika-6 na ng Marso, taong 2023. At mga katribo, sana ay makarating kayo sa inyong pupuntahan ng safe at hindi kayo nahihirapang sumakay.
Ay, oo nga pala, ngayon, Monday ngayon, simula ng strike ng jeepney, ng mga tumututo sa jeepney modernization. Pero, fortunately naman, hindi naman lahat sumama. Yung mga malaking 7 jeepney organizations ay hindi kasama ito ng Pasang Mazda, Fairjudap, Actod, LTAP, nakalimutan ko nila tatlo pa eh.
Pero yung pisto nanghaharang na sa sa Alabang.
Oo, pero marami pa rin sa kanila ang pumapasada raw, di umano, kukuha lang daw ng pangkain, pero yun na lagi naman ang katwiran ng mga jeepney drivers eh. Kaya hindi nagiging successful kahit kailan ang tigil pasada na panawagan ng mga jeepney drivers.
Sa Maynila, nag-start na raw ito at 6:30 in the morning. Pero sana naman ay ang mga LGUs natin, gaya ng kanilang pinangako, ay matugunan yung mga pangangailangan ng ating mga mamamayan, mga katribo natin na papasok sa kanilang mga
trabaho at eskwelahan. At nabuti rin naman ngayon nga pala mga katribo, suspendido ang color coding scheme. Maski sa Makati, suspendido dahil nga sa
dito,
jeepney strike na yan. At may mga preposition na rin ng mga assets ang MMDA at ang mga LGUs o sa Maynila na binabagit mo katribong Chiki. Ganon din sa Caloocan na morto natin kanina na may mga pinakakalat na rin na mga sasakyan ang mga LGUs na yan at MMDA para to augment kung sakaling magkaroon ng kakulangan sa sasakyan. Pero sabi nila ayaw rin naman nila mag-deploy ng marami kaagad-agad para naman tulong sa mga bumabiyaheng mga jeepney drivers na ayaw naman lang maagawan ng kita.
Pero diyan din sa Quezon City ay nagsimula ng iayos yung mga minibuses nila na puti, yung puti. At naka-ready sila just in case na mga ilangan ng ating mga katribo dyan. So nakakatuwa na yung ating LGU ay talagang handang-handa. Kaya sabi ko nga kung sa akin yan, i-call ko yan. Sige, tigil kayo. Then I will just ask some private individuals and organizations to help. O, di hayaan mo sila. Tuloy-tuloy yung modernization doon sa may mga, those who are supportive.
Yeah.
Oo, at hindi yung nang-aabala ng ating mga katribo.
Hindi naman yan bago, matagal na yan, na
2017
2017 pa yan. Nakailang extension na yan. Pangalawang administrasyon na to, kaya yung kinakatwiran ng mga tumututol dyan na konting panahon pa, minamadali daw. Hindi pa kayo minamadali, 2017 na po yan.
At saka yung sinasabi nilang hindi kaya, ang gobyerno ay meron nang in-approve ang land bank na pang-loan dito sa modernization na ito. And I believe it's 6.9 billion.
Additional 6.9
Additional,
billion.
Oo.
So lumalabas 10 billion na yung
10 billion na. So hindi pwede nating masabing hindi natin kaya sapagkat ang gobyerno ay may pinalabas na pondo para sa modernisasyon.
Talakay natin mamaya ng gusto yan. Marami pa tayong detalye.
Okay, so marami pa. Kaya I hope all of you are safe. Kayong yung mga papasok ngayon. At sa Paranaque nga pala, walang pasok kasi nga walang tubig. Isang linggo.
Ay,
At
Walang-
mga katribo, huwag kayong aalis at imbitahan pa ninyo ang lahat ng mga kasama ninyo. Para naman manood mamaya sapagkat meron tayong bisita, ang kagalang-galang at very special yung ating episode ngayon. Ang ating ambassador ng India dito sa ating bansa ay makikipagtalakayan sa atin tungkol sa relasyon ng India at Pilipinas at ang kanilang kultura at kung gaano ito kasimilar or nagkakapareho tayo ng ibang mga kultura. Yan.
Tama ka dyan, Chinky. Pero bago yan, alamin muna natin ang ating trivia of the day. Ano kaya ito?
Ayan, nako, alam nyo ba na today is National Dentist Day.
Aray!
So, hello sa ating mga dentista, I find them so patient. Lalo na yung mga dentista ng mga anak ko. Hello sa inyong, kay Dr. Gonzalez, clinic dentist, sa inyong lahat dyan. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay po kayo at lahat ng mga dentista na mabubuti. Hindi yung bibigyan ka ng kung ano-anong reseta o kung ano-anong sasabihin sa iyo para marami silang ma-charge. But those dentists who are really good, marami naman yan. Mabuhay po kayo.
Ang dami kong kaya lang mga taong ang tatapang eh. Sanay masakta. Pero pag bisita sa dentista, takot na takot eh. Pag narinig na yung yung dindin, diba? Tsaka yung karayom, nagtututo. Ayaw.
And you'll know, maraming mga nasa gobyerno rin na matataas ang pwesto na makikita mo, hindi maganda ang ngipin eh. Kasi, yun nga, takot sa dentista. Not because they cannot afford it, takot sila sa dentista.
But, regardless kung takot kayo sa dentista, mga katribo, at kayong dalawa dyan, if you visit your dentist for a checkup, don't forget to thank them kasi pinapaganda nila yung ngipin. Tapos sinatanggal din yung sakit ng ngipin natin. So, nakakatakot pero you need to be thankful for them.
Exactly. At dagdag nating trivia for the day. Ngayon mga katribo ay araw ng Ghana's Independence Day. Today, Ghana is marking their 66th anniversary of independence.
Ay, happy Independence Day
So
dyan.
yes, congratulations. We celebrate with you. Kaya sa mga katribong Ghanaians, happy independence sa inyong lahat. I hope you understand. Happy independence to all of you and we celebrate with you.
And with these trivias, Gising Na will be right back after a short break.
Nasa kamay mo ang swerte, ngunit hindi ito isang laro na para lang sa'yo. Dahil bukod sa pag-asang maging milyonaryo, ang pagtangkilik mo sa loto at ipapang produkto ng PCSO ay nakakalikom ng pondo para sa mga programang pangkalusugan, tulong at serbisyong medikal at kawang-gawa.
Lahat ng minimithi makakamtan sa PCSO.
Iba ng panahon, ang dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ang magbayad, bigger, better na. You can buy it sa centers, pati sa mga partners, may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all.
Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayad. Viber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.
Mga katribo, ngayon naman, simulan na natin ang ating mga talakayan. Narito ang ating mga front page stories na mababasa natin sa pahayagang Daily Tribune at sa ating official website.
We'll get the mastermind. Ito ang pangako ni DILG Secretary Benhar Abalos, ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez at ni Pangulong Marcos mismo na kanilang mahuhulihin at tutugisin ang mga nasa likod ng pagpaslang kay Negros Occidental Governor Degamo. Kahapon.
And our condolences to the family at sa lahat ng kanyang mga nasasakupan. Front page story, number 2. February inflation may hit 9.3%. Yan ang sinasabi dahil sa sobrang taas ng mga presyo nitong nakaraang buwan, itong Pebrero, at halos mag-double digit ang ating inflation nung nakaraang buwan.
Mas mataas pa raw sa January inflation, sabi nung ito naman ay pagtataya pa lang, no? Hindi pa ito yung actual
Hindi pa
numbers.
sigurado.
So, ito lang yung estimate ng ating mga economists nang sabi nila na maaaring umabot ng 9.3% ang inflation rate nung nakaraang Pebrero.
Oh, kita mo na, nalalampasan natin ang hirap, hindi halos natin na mamalayan kahit hirap na hirap tayo. No? So, front page number 3.
Para sa karagdagang front page story sa Daily Tribune, Philippines, Malaysia tackling Sabah issue.
Both heads of the Department of Foreign Affairs are now, we're going to sit and discuss how to possibly start the settlement of the Sabah issue.
Ito, sabi ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, sa pagbisita nung nakaraang linggo ni Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, ay napag-usapan nila yung issue ng Sabah sa kanilang diskusyunan. At sana nga maayos nila yan. At sabi nga kasi at sabi naman ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, ay hindi naman iniiwanan ng Pilipinas ang ating claim diyan sa Sabah na sa katunayan nga nagbabayad diyan ng renta ang Malaysia sa mga ng pamilya ng Sultanate of Sulu. Kaya lang natigil yan noong 2013 nung nagkaroon ng insidente ng diyan, ng mga umatake mga ilang supporters ng Sultanate para tuluyan bawiin ang kanilang claim sa Sabah.
Merong hindi na nakakapaghintay.
Oo.
Okay. Next front page story.
6.9 billion pesos okayed for Egypt. Ito yung
Na
binabagit mo
pinag-uusapan
kanina.
natin kanina. Oo.
Nagdagdag ng 6.9 billion pesos ang Land Bank para maging 10 billion pesos ang
kabuuan.
ang financing facilities o ito yung mga halagang pwedeng utangin ng mga kooperatiba o korporasyon na itatayo upang mag-shift sila from a traditional jeepney to modernized jeepney o e-jeepneys or kung yung compliant na sa Euro standards o modernization. At ang kagandahan nito, sabi mo walang dahilan na hindi maka-avail kasi 95% ng halaga ng e-jeepney ay pwede nang i-loan. Ibig sabihin, kung ang halaga niyan ay 1 million pesos, 950,000 ang pwede mong i-loan. 50,000 lang ang ano mo ang manggagaling sa iyo, ano. At napakababa ng ano nito ng interest rate, 6% per year.
Baba.
Napakababa.
Oo. At yung hindi pa kasali sa mga kooperatiba, ay sumama na kayo. Kasi kung hindi kayo nagsimula noon, talagang matatagalan kayo. Kasi yung iba talaga hindi nagsimula.
Oo,
Pero yung iba talagang very cooperative. Nagsimula na sila ng kooperatiba. So kung kayo isasali, sumali na kayo ng mas maaga. Kasi kung magsisimula pa lang kayo ngayon, pwede rin naman sigurong umabot hanggang December. Pero yung isabay na rin. Madali lang naman ang paggawa ng kooperatiba eh. Tututukan mo lang yung documentation.
Oh, yun ang problema ng mga nag-strike ngayon kasi hindi sila sumali, hindi nila sinimulan yung yung transition to modernization eh. Hindi katulad ng mga pasang Mazda, FEDUDAP, at yung mga hindi kasali sa yung big tinatawag na Magnificent Seven na jeepney organizations na hindi sumali. Sila kasi simula nung mag-modernize, nakipag-dialogo agad sila. At nung napakinggan nila yung argumento na nakita na yung benepisyo, ngayon ay nakikinabang sila dahil sila yung mga sila yung mga nag-modernize kaagad. At itong mga tulad ng manibela, piston na hindi sumali at hindi hindi nag-shift. Sila ngayon nagpo-protesta at yun ang bottom line na problema nila eh. Hindi kasi sila nauna.
Oo, tsaka hindi sila agad umaksyon ng antitigas ng ulo. Tapos ngayon, ayaw nilang sumama sa ibang kooperatiba kasi hindi sila ang magli-lead.
Exactly. Ilang katwiran nila.
Din sana nagsimula na kayo noon pa. Tapos sasabihin ninyo na binibigyan lang kayo hanggang Disyembre. 2017 pa yan. Bakit nagawa nung iba? Kung nagawa ng iba, bakit hindi ninyo nagawa? So, meron kayong kakulangan. Hindi ba na pinapapakita yun na ang laki ng inyong kakulangan kasi hindi niyo nagawa, pero nagawa ng iba?
Ang katwiran nila, pero pag sumali raw sila sa existing cooperative na, magkakaroon ng power struggle, umas pala kayo, ba't di ka sumali noong una, di ba? Di sana kayo
sana, gumawa na sila noon pa.
Uno, di ba?
Kanila.
Yun ang dahilan nila, hindi sila magiging leaders eh.
Puro politika eh. Pansarili lang yung mga yan ang iniisip nila. Okay, mga next front page story. Adopt Vietnam Agri Model Trader urges. Ayan. Ito yung ng Vietnam na dapat natin na gayahin. Oo. Ang ganda ng Vietnam eh. Nasa kanila nagsimula yung masarap na masarap na tea.
Ito yung bisita natin ng nakaraang Martes sa Straight Talk si UCC President Mr. Torrejon at
siya nagsabi
niya suggestion niya kanya na yung modelo kasi ng Vietnam, ang ginagawa ng gobyerno, pinagagamit sa mga magsasaka yung government land. At kapag napagyaman ng mga magsasaka, bibigyan sila ng reward. Pag hindi na pagyaman yung lupain nila, babawin sa kanila ng gobyerno. So may incentive, 'di ba, yung mga magsasaka na to utilize the land that were given them, hindi yung kasi di sa atin.
Iba naman kasi yung kanilang kanilang gobyerno doon. Pero yun ang kagandahan na lahat ay sumusunod, lahat ay nagtatrabaho. Ang sisipag kaya at bawat halos kanto doon may mga tindahan ng kainan.
Sa atin kasi yung land reform natin, pag binigay sa magsasaka yung lupa, pag yung anak ayaw na magsaka, bebenta na sa subdivision. Gagawin subdivision yung lupa nila.
Ayan. So, anyway, next front page story.
Revealed, Liza Enrique declined its okay to not be okay Philippine remake. Oh my God, hindi na natapos yung issue ni Liza. Ito kasi ay yung remake dapat yan nung hit Korean series. Kaya lang tinanggihan daw yan ni Liza, sabi nung kanyang dating manager na si OG Diaz. Kasi nga, yun nga, ipupuso niya yung Hollywood dream. Tapos ito naman si Enrique ay gusto ng break sa showbiz. So, technically, dapat mayroon silang serye pala bago yung tumalunay yung kanilang karera. Ayun, tumanggi yung isa naman, gusto ng break. So,
ang ganda ni Liza, no?
Yun yung nangyari. Yun yung sinabi ng kanyang manager na si OG Diaz.
Pero si Liza, di ba, she's being managed now by
James Reid.
And recently, she's recognized as one of the top 4 most beautiful faces. Oo, sa Asia.
Maganda naman talaga siya.
Oo, maganda siya.
Given na yun.
Magarunong din siyang umarte at alam ko may improve pa yan. Well, let's just, kung ako bilang isang Pilipino, gusto kong, I want her to, I'm supporting her,
Decision.
her decision. Buhay niya yan eh.
Kamusta naman si Enrique Hill at si Liza? Diba, ano sila? Love team?
Oo. Sila pa din naman, so wala namang issue doon. Kaya lang yun nga kasi, yung karera nila is medyo walang update, matamlay. Yung kasi yung pinupunta rin ng, alam mo na, ng mga marites. So,
Oo.
yun
Well,
yung-
matamlay dito. And dito talaga matamlay. Wala sila eh. Pero nagsisimula sila sa Amerika. So, syempre, like anyone who is starting, syempre, magsisimula sa bababa. At yung mga marites naman, hindi nyo nga kayang pumunta ng Amerika eh. Pwede ba tumigil na kayo?
kasi yung pinupunta...
Dito nga, hindi kayo makapag-artista eh.
Right. Kasi yung yung mga ibang panay, alam mo naman kasi yung Katniel kasi nagkaroon ng serye yung Too Good to Be True. Ito kasing dalawa, ang tagal nang wala. So inaantay din sila ng mga kanilang mga fanay. Kaya lang wali nga. So yun yung
So
nangyari.
tumahimik na kayo kasi wala naman kayo naitulong.
Shut it.
Shut it! Next front page story.
Flying Fantasy, ito, isapin, asapin diba yung last month, diba, ilang mga balloons,
Flying balloons,
ang sinapdown ng US Air Force dyan sa US, sa Yukon, sa Alaska, sa Lake Huron, at meron din sa Japan.
Yes.
At merong lumabas kasi isang footage na merong isang UFO di umano na pinabagsak ng isang missile galing ng F-20 gamit ng isang F-22. Pero sabi naman ng isang gaming company, no, po yan, advertisement lang po nila yan sa kanilang bagong games. So hindi po totoo yung So meron na kasi
Siyempre, nagkakaroon na ng paranoia.
UFO craze. At sa Malaysia naman, merong isang kasalang nagaganap kung saan yung mga nagulantang yung mga bisita dahil meron sila nakitang isang lumilipad at lumulutang-lutang na UFO. So, balit nung malapit sa kanila yung object, ay bigla itong bumagsak at na-discover nila na isa pala siyang tent lamang na tinangin ng hangin.
Ay, nako mga katribo, dahil sa ginagawa na yan ng China, ang dami ng nagiging paranoid. At time check muna tayo. It's 7:55 in the morning. So, gising na. At ngayon, ang ating I speak of the day. Excuse me. Dapat ba na ituloy ang jeepney modernization? Yan. Dapat ba nating ituloy yan? Kaya mga katribo, mag-message na kayo sa aming number na 0968-670-4650 at mag-comment na rin sa aming Facebook page na Daily Tribune.
Kaya mga katribo, sa aming pagbabalik, ay makakasama natin ang ambassador ng India na si His Excellency Shambhu Kumaran para magbigay ng impormasyon sa kultura ng India at mga programa at ang pagkakaibigan at relationship ng Pilipinas sa India. Kaya mga katribo, mananatiling nakatutok dito lang sa
Gising na!
Nasa kamay mo ang swerte, ngunit hindi ito isang laro na para lang sa'yo. Dahil bukod sa pag-asang maging milyonaryo, ang pagtangkilik mo sa loto at ipapang produkto ng PCSO ay nakakalikom ng pondo para sa mga programang pangkalusugan, tulong at serbisyong medikal at kawang-gawa.
Kasal, lahat ng minimithi makakamtan sa PCSO.
Viber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.
Iba ng panahon, dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ano bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy it to centers, pati sa mga parties may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all.
Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayan.
Mga katribu, you're still watching
Gising na! Alamin naman natin ang lagay ng panahon na ihahatid sa atin ni Dan Villamil, Weather Forecast Specialist ng Pag-asa.
Good morning, Dan.
Good morning po sa ating mga tagapakinig dito sa Daily Tribune. Kasalukuyan wala pa rin tayong binabantay ng low pressure area. Sama ng panahon na maaaring maka-apekto sa ating bansa sa mga susunod na araw. Patuloy ang pag-iral ng northeast monsoon o hanging amihan sa malaking bahagi ng Luzon. Samantalang Shirley naman ay pagkasalukong ng mainit at malamig na hangin ang magdudulot ng mainit na kalangitan na may mga karat-karat na pag-ulan, pakulog at pagkilad dito sa Bicol Region at Eastern Visayas. Dahil naman sa amihan, makakaranas rin tayo ng mga kaulapan at mataas sa tsansa ng pag-ulan dito sa Cagayan Valley, Apayao, Aurora at Quezon. Sa nalalabing bahagi ng ating bansa ay pangkalahatang maaliwalas sa panahon na ating inaasahan sa mga susunod na araw. May tsansa pa rin tayo ng mga localized thunderstorms dito sa Palawan, rest of Visayas, and Mindanao. Sa Metro Manila naman and the rest of Luzon ay may tsansa naman tayo ng mga light rains o yung pag-ambon na dala ng amihan. Agwat ng temperatura dito sa Metro Manila ngayong araw, posibleng maglaro mula 20 to 31 degrees Celsius. 12 to 22 degrees naman dito sa Baguio City at 24 to 29 degrees Celsius sa Legazpi City. Sa kalagayan ng ating karagatan, may gale warning tayong nakataas sa mga dagat baybayin ng Batanes, Ilocos Norte, Cagayan, Bubuyan Islands, Isabela, Aurora, Quezon, Camarines Norte, Northern Coast ng Camarines Sur, Northern at Eastern Coast ng Catanduanes, Eastern Coast ng Albay, Eastern Coast ng Sorsogon, Northern at Eastern Coast ng Northern Samar, Ilocos Sur, Oriental Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon, Eastern Coast ng Palawan at sa Antique. Kaya sa ating mga kababayan mga ngisda at may mga maliliit na sasakyang pandagat sa mga nabanggit na baybayin, kung maaari ay huwag po muna tayong pumalaot dahil inasahan natin na magpapatuloy itong maalon hanggang sa napakaalong karagatan. At yan naman po ang latest mula dito sa Pag-asa Weather Forecasting Center, Dan Villamil Nagulan.
Maraming salamat, Dan Villamil, at good morning sa iyo.
Morning din po, magandang umaga.
Dan, meron lang kaming konting katanungan. Dan, di ba over the past 3 months, no, napansin natin na yung pagsikat ng araw medyo late, no? Alas 6 ng umaga, medyo madilim-dilim pa. Pero kayo ng umaga, paglabas ko, before 6, medyo maliwanag na, medyo sikat na yung araw. Nangangahulugan ba to na pumasok na ang summer season o yung tag-init?
Well, hindi pa po natin official na dineklara itong simula ng dry season. Pero mapapansin po natin, unti-unti nakahaba ang ating araw at ikli ang gabi kasi papunta na po tayo sa tinatawag nating summer season dito sa Northern Hemisphere. So sa mga susunod na araw or at least sa mga susunod na linggo ay masahaba ng ating oras ng daytime. So sa regards naman po sa dry season, usually po sa kalagitnaan pa ito ng Marso sa 3rd week po ng March.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Dan.
At ngayon, syempre, kailangan natin ihanda ang ating mga summer wear at mga beach bodies. Ngayon, ngayon naman, mga katribu, alamin natin ang mga latest headline news na mababasa sa Tribune News on Cue.
Inaprubahan ng Department of Budget and Management ang 2 bilyong piso para mabayaran ang mga right-of-way property sa ginagawang Cavite-Laguna Expressway ngayong taon. Ito ay sa pamamagitan ng Department of Public Works and Highways na siyang namumuno sa pagpapakumpleto ng nasabing expressway. Sinabi ni Public Works and Highways Secretary Manuel Bonoan na handa na ang pondo at mayroon na ring writ of possession para sa 15,650 square meters na lupa na kakailanganin para sa proyekto. Kailangan din ito para sa pagpapagawa ng ilang parte ng Calac Silang Aguinaldo Interchange, ganun din para sa paggawa ng tulay, drainage, excavation, roadway earthworks at pagbabakod sa paligid ng Calacs.
Inalmahan ng National Youth Commission ang tawag ng Alliance of Concerned Teachers na ibasura ang Mandatory Reserve Officers Training Corps dahil sa pagkamatay ng isang estudyante dahil sa hazing. Ani NYC Chairman Ronald Cardema, noong linggo, hindi raw dapat idamay ang ROTC sa nakaraang insidente sa hazing kung saan nasawi ang estudyante ng Adamson University na si John Michael Salilig. Dagdag pa ni Cardema, pawang mga makakaliwa ang nagsusulong ng pagbabasura ng ROTC na dapat daw unahing almahan ang pagre-recruit ng mga batang miyembro ng New People's Army. Ang ROTC ang galugod ng Reserve Forces ng bansa, ni Cardema na siyang dating ROTC commander ng University of the Philippines.
Nais ni Senadora Amy Marcos na maisailalim sa lockdown ang Negros Oriental matapos ang pananambang sa gobernador nitong si Roel Degamo noong Sabado. Ani Marcos noong linggo na dapat ilagay sa state of emergency ang lalawigan upang mabilis na mabigyang hustisya ang pagkakapaslang kay Degamo at 8 pang katao. Dagdag ni Marcos, nakatrabaho niya si Degamo sa Governor's League noong siya pa ang gobernadora ng Ilocos Norte. Tinuran pa ni Marcos na dumalo sa burol ni Degamo sa Dumaguete City na hindi raw dapat makalabas ng probinsya ang mga gumawa ng krimen, pati na rin ang mga mastermind nito.
Nais raw sanang makatrabaho ng aktres na si Christine Reyes, ang nag-iisang Vilma Santos at ang magaling na aktor na si John Lloyd Cruz. Sana nga raw ay sa susunod na proyekto ng aktres ay magkaroon siya ng pagkakataong makasama ang mga ito dahil sigurado raw marami siyang matututunan pagdating sa aktingan. Kinabiliban naman si Christine sa kanyang pagganap sa Martyr or Murderer ni Director Daryl Yap at ng Viva Films. Ngayon pa lamang daw ay pinag-uusapan na ang posibilidad na mag-nominate o man-nominate at manalo siya bilang Best Actress sa susunod na awards season.
Muntik na palang hindi nagkaroon ng blockbuster na pelikulang One More Chance kung natuloy ang pag-alis ni Bea Alonzo papuntang Canada. Ito ang inamin ng aktres na nagsabing plano na niyang iwanan ang showbiz noon bago pa man ang pelikulang nagluklok sa kanya at kay John Lloyd Cruz sa Superstardom. Sa isang video interview, sinabi ni Bea na naisipan na niyang lisanin ang showbiz at makikipagsapala na lang sa Canada kasama ang kanyang ina. Dahil na rin sa burnout at pagiging toxic ng show business. Ito raw ay noong panahong ginagawa nila ni John Lloyd ang series na Maging Sino Ka Man kasama sila Ann Curtis at Sam Milby.
At yan ang mga balita na nakalap ngayon sa Gising Na. Stay tuned mga katribo.
Nasa kamay mo ang swerte, ngunit hindi ito isang laro na para lang sa'yo. Dahil bukod sa pag-asang maging milyonaryo, ang pagtangkilik mo sa loto at ipapang produkto ng PCSO ay nakakalikom ng pondo para sa mga programang pangkalusugan, tulong at serbisyong medikal at kawang-gawa.
Kasal, lahat ng minimithi makakamtan sa PCSO.
Every time I'm on the road, I can expect high performance from Phoenix Fuels. Now with Pulse technology, delivers enhanced power and acceleration to make every trip come alive.
Steps can lead us to millions of doors opening, millions of paths unfolding, and millions of reasons to keep going. Now's the time to be with a network that gets better every day for you.
Iba ng panahon, ang dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ano bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy it sa centers, pati sa mga partners, may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all.
Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayan.
Mga katribo, nakatutok pa rin kayo sa Gising Na!
Sana rin deduction niya. Chingbi,
Magbabasag pa!
Chingbi, hello Chingbi, Willie.
And hello sa advance party ng His Excellency, the Ambassador of India. Meron na sila, andito na yung kanilang advance party and the Ambassador is on his way. Meanwhile, mag-ano muna tayo para sa mga marites. O mga marites, nananawagan kami. Tune in na. Alamin natin ang latest sa balitang showbiz na ihahatid sa atin ni Queen Kim Sancha. Welcome back, Kimi.
Thank you. Ayan nga, good morning to our Marites, sa mga readers, listeners, at viewers. Siyempre, Monday na naman, narito na ang hottest, latest entertainment at lifestyle news here and abroad on Gising Na, siyempre. I, for now, consider myself a free agent. Sabi yan sa post ni megastar Sharon Cuneta. Siya ay naging at palaging magiging kapamilya. Kasama niya ang ABS-CBN mula noong 1988, noong itinatayo pa lang ang kanilang istasyon mula sa simula pagkatapos ng mga taon ng pagsasara ng gobyerno noon ng Pilipinas. 3 palabas ang ginawa niya na nagdala ng pangalan niya, The Sharon Cuneta Show for 11 years, Sharon for 6 years, and the third also called Sharon for another 6 years. Pagkatapos ay gumawa siya ng Star Power, The Biggest Loser, Coach, The Voice Kids, and The Voice Teens edition, at Judge, syempre, sa Your Face Sounds Familiar. And of course, FPJs ang probinsyano, which she owed largely to her sundown na si Coco Martin for the role of Aurora Guillermo. Matapos ang ilang dekada, wala siyang pangmatagalang kontrata sa kanyang istasyon. Alam niyang maraming bagay ang naging sanhi nito, na wala ang parangkisa, ang istasyon ay napakaraming bituin ngayon, at sabi niya, kaming old guard ay kailangang magbigay daan. I guess it is understandable that I for now consider myself a free agent. It's time I open myself up to other stations that may need my services, while always keeping my kapamilya duties. If and when they come, one goes only where one is needed. For the record, wala pa siyang nakakausap na kahit sino mula sa kahit anong istasyon. Sa huli, mensahe niya ay, I love you ABS-CBN, my memory and loyalty are unquestionable, but a girl's gotta work and where she can and where she's wanted. See you again hopefully soon whenever you may need me. P.S. Coco anak, ikaw ang may malasakit sa akin at lagi akong iniisip. Abot langit ang pasasalamat ko sa iyo at habang buhay kita mamahalin. Ito pang isa. Naging emosyonal naman si Robbie Domingo nang ipagdiwang niya ang kanyang 15th anniversary sa entertainment industry sa asap natin ito kahapon yan. Hindi na napigilan ni Domingo ang kanyang mga luha nang makita ang pre-recorded video messages ng kanyang mga kaibigan tulad nina EJ Falcon, Joseph Elizalde, Enchong D. Sam Concepcion, Donnie Pangilinan at si Melay Cantiveros. Binati rin siya ng kanyang mga magulang at pinuno ng Star Magic na si Lauren Diogi at sinabing labis nilang ipinagmamalaki ang lahat ng kanyang mga nagawa. Sa huli, nagbigay pugay din sa kanya ang fiancé na si Mikey Pineda na sinasabing laging nandyan para makita ang higit pa sa kung ano ang maaari niyang maabot sa mga susunod na taon. Nagsimula ang karera ni Robbie sa showbiz matapos pumangalawa sa Pinoy Big Brother Teen Edition Plus noong 2008. Matapos ang kanyang stint sa reality show, naging regular host sa iba't ibang programa ng ABS-CBN. Si Robbie ay umarte na rin sa mga drama at pelikula sa telebisyon. Ayan, yan yung nangyari kay Robbie. At kasama natin last week doon sa La Union, doon sa pageant. And thank you nga pala kay Gobernadora Rafaela Ortega David at syempre kay Director Bernard May Bituin. At napakaganda ni Mayora sumayaw dun sa opening number nung Mutiati La Union na yan. So tune in to Tribune Extra from Monday to Friday for the latest and hottest local and international entertainment and lifestyle news here on Gising Na and on Reels.
Salamat sa iyong balita, Kim.
Yes.
Oo.
Medyo, mag-react lang ako dun sa
Kay
balita
Sharon, go!
Hindi naman siya naging totally loyal din sa ABS-CBN, di ba? There was a time na nung nag-expand ang Channel 5,
yes.
Isa siya sa mga lumipat doon at napakalaki di umano na kanyang talent fee na nakuha sa napinirmahan diyan sa Channel 5 no. Actually marami sana silipat no sila.
Marami.
Sila Dolphy, sila Agamulak, siya. Kaya lang hindi rin naging successful yung kanilang paglipat dahil hindi rin naman naging number 1 ng Channel 5 kaya nagbalik sila sa kanilang mother station hindi naman mother stations kundi sa kanilang dating istasyon, Channel 7 at Channel 2, buti nga tinanggap sila ulit. Diba?
Ayun, masabi ko lang, na-interview natin si Robbie dun sa La Union at nakakatuwa, hindi pa rin siya nagbabago. Kasi dalawa kami print na nag-invite doon. Tapos, ayun nga, tapos maglalabas doon siya ng parang interview or something sa kanila lapit niyang kasal doon sa kanyang fiancé. Mahal kayo si Robbie. Napakabait niyan, gentleman yan si Robbie Domingo. And congratulations.
It looks like his. Yeah. I don't know this guy, but he seems good. So, wishing you all the best in your endeavor.
Ano yun eh?
Ngayon, dahil naman, ngayon mga katibo,
Go.
dahil ay Lunes, narito ang ating weekly legal forum. Mayroon tayong liham mula kay Nelson. Narito ang kanyang letter. Dear Attorney Angela, I was with my family eating in a restaurant, and when I got the bill, I used my credit card to pay. It took a while before I got my card back, and I found the server suspicious as I am not sure what he did with my credit card. A few days passed, and to my shock, my card provider has been prompting on my email and cell phone of certain charges which I did not make. I went back to the restaurant and confronted the server where I got to make him admit that he copied my card details and made unauthorized transactions. What is the crime committed in this case? Nelson.
At heto naman, mga katribo, ang sagot ng ating resident lawyer kay Nelson. Ang ating lawyer ay si Attorney Angela Antonio. Dear Nelson, due to emerging cases of unauthorized access on personal accounts or credit card holders without any permission of the owner, Republic Act or RA 84884, otherwise known as Access Devices Regulation Act of 1998, as amended by Republic Act 11449 in 2019, was passed to protect people against unlawful access. Section 9 of Republic Act 84884, as amended by RA 11449, makes illegal skimming, copying, or counterfeiting any credit card, payment card, or debit card, and obtaining any information therein with the intent of accessing the account and operating the same whether or not cash is withdrawn or monetary injury is caused by a perpetrator against the account holder or the depository bank. Also, Section 9 makes it illegal to access with or without authority any application, online banking account, credit card account, ATM account, debit card account in a fraudulent manner, regardless of whether or not it will result in monetary loss to the account holder. As stated, the act of skimming, copying, or counterfeiting any credit card and accessing another's credit card account through fraudulent means constitute as access device fraud and is unlawful. Under Section 10, the fraudulent act is punishable by imprisonment for not less than 6 years and not more than 10 years and a fine of 500,000 pesos or twice the value obtained by the offender, whichever is higher, without prejudice to the civil liability of the offender. You may file a case against the server who perpetrated skimming on your credit card and shall face criminal charges and penalties as discussed above. Skimmers and hackers get more inventive, so it is important to be extra vigilant to protect your accounts and avoid information theft. Attorney Angela Antonio. So we hope, Nelson, na nasagot niya yung iyong katanungan. Kasabi nga ni Attorney Angela, pwede mong idemanda ang server na kumuha ng impormasyon ng iyong card at ito ay nangangahulugan o pwede siyang makulong ng hindi bababa ng 6 na taon up to 10 years at magbabayad ng kaukulang danyos at 500,000 pesos kung ano man yung higher.
At sabi nga ni Attorney Angela, no, yung mga criminal acts na yan, yung mga criminal actors na yan, ay magiging mas creative ngayon, hindi lang basta-basta kinokopya. Yung identity theft at saka data theft ngayon, napakalaganap, di ba? Kaya nga nagkaroon tayo ng SIM registration law dahil kumalat yung ating mga data. Kaya nung panahon pandemic, kaya ang dami-dami natin tatagap araw-araw maya ng mga sa text, di ba, ng mga kung ano-ano mga scams. Kaya yun, mga katibang, ingat po kayo sa inyong data. Kaya nga minsan, di ba, may mga department stores. Doon kahapon meron namili ka isang kilalang department store o department store na high-end brand department store. Pinapipirmahan ako after ko magbayad sa cashier. Sabi ko, ay, pwede ka bang hindi pirmahan yan? O ilagay yung datos ko. Kasi customer database. Sabi ko, pwede bang hindi ko i-fill up yan? Sabi, pwede naman daw hindi. So, hindi ko fill up pa. So, ganun po sana, mga katib, maging Maging
more
aware kayo.
vigilant.
Oo,
Oo,
vigilant
more
kayo.
vigilant kayo. At yung mga tumatawag po sa inyo na hinihingi yung inyong mga informasyon at yung nasa likod ng inyong credit card, wag po ninyo itong ibibigay sapagkat wala pong mga ganitong itinatawag lang sa telepono.
Oo, tsaka
Mag-iingat. Lalo na yung ibang mga nasa mga senior citizens na madalas, more often than not, ay sila yung nabibiktima nitong ganitong scam.
Tama.
So, yeah.
At natapos na naman ang isang episode ng aming legal forum. Kaya patuloy lang kayo sa pagpapadala ng mga liham, mga katribo, dahil walang sawa kaming kayong tutulungan. At sa aming pagbabalik ay makakasama or makakapanayam na natin ang Indian Ambassador.
His Excellency.
His Excellency
Shambu Kumaran.
Ayan, kumaran. So, mamaya po yan. Kaya, matapos na ang ilang paalala.
Nasa kamay mo ang swerte, ngunit hindi ito isang laro na para lang sa'yo. Dahil bukod sa pag-asang maging milyonaryo, ang pagtangkilik mo sa loto at iba pang produkto ng PCSO ay nakakalikom ng pondo para sa mga programang pangkalusugan, tulong at serbisyong medikal at kawang-gawa.
Kasal, lahat ng minimithi makakamtan sa PCSO.
Nasa kamay mo ang swerte, ngunit hindi ito isang laro na para lang sa'yo. Dahil bukod sa pag-asang maging milyonaryo, ang pagtangkilik mo sa loto at iba pang produkto ng PCSO ay nakakalikom ng pondo para sa mga programang pangkalusugan, tulong at serbisyong medikal at kawang-gawa.
Kasal, lahat ng minimithi makakamtan sa PCSO.
Mga katribo, kayo nakatutok pa rin sa
Gising na!
At syempre, gaya ng naipangako natin, Katribong Comfy.
Yeah,
Special episode
episode.
today. Dahil,
Makakasama natin ang Ambassador of India na si His Excellency Shambhu Kumaran. And we're very welcome, sir. Welcome to our show. And Gising Na is shown live on DZR on Radyo Bayo TV and simulcast over DZRJ 810 AM. And we are also live streamed over the Facebook pages of Daily Tribune, Radyo Bayo TV, and DZRJ. And of course, all our discussion will be published in tomorrow's issue of the Daily Tribune. So, Your Excellency, welcome to Gising Na.
Thank you very much for having
welcome
me.
to Gising Na, Excellency.
Thank you.
And for our first question, of course, let's start with the question and answer with the ambassador. For our first question, sir. The Philippines and India have always enjoyed 70 years of diplomatic relationships, which have been described as friendly and unproblematic. So, what more can we expect from this friendly relationship between our two nations?
Well, I think India and the Philippines have a very long tradition of friendship. But today, I think we are both very dynamic economies. And I think we are also asserting our place in the global order. So I think the outlook for the India-Philippines relationship is extremely positive from in different sectors, politically, in terms of defense and security, our economic and trade partnership, but most importantly also the people-to-people relations between our people.
Can I expound on your statement about the India and the Philippines are two growing economies? In fact, we are expected to grow faster than the rest of the world this year, and we need to ascertain our position in the global arena. So how do you see that? How do you see that we can ascertain our positions, both the Philippines and India, as we grow, as we are the two nations that are growing faster than the rest of the world?
And how do both Philippines and India keep our relations robust?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think it's important to recognize that there's a momentum going forward, both for India and the Philippines. As you rightly said, we are very fast-growing economies. We are the fastest-growing, actually. Last year, we were among the fastest-growing economies in the world. And our demographics, which means the number of young people in both India and the Philippines, the percentage is among the highest in the world. So the potential for growth in terms of economic growth is very strong in India and the Philippines. So what we need to do, of course, is we need to work together to create an international environment that facilitates our growth. That means having arrangements that will support us to do more trade and investment, both with each other but also with others. And we also need to bring about more conversations between the business communities in India and the Philippines, and we've been trying to do that. To get Indian businesses more interested in the Philippines, and vice versa, to get Philippines businesses to look at India as a partner. And I think there are very promising signs in this regard.
Ambassador, very recently, you and the Secretary of the ILG, I just would like you to please mention that so that our Katribos will know what India has been doing to help us. So you signed an agreement or some sort of grant with our DILG Secretary. Will you please tell that about it or discuss about it with our Katribos?
Well, the development activities in various parts of the Philippines, but also try to bring some of the innovative development models that are there. And since both India and the Philippines are democracies, but we also have a large development deficit, meaning there are a lot of people who need to be supported, whether it be in terms of education, health, or in sectors like agriculture. There are a lot of innovations that need to come in so that our people at the local level can benefit. So the Secretary Abalos and I signed this agreement that helps us, India, to provide some grant-funded projects in the Philippines.
Thank you so much, Ambassador, and of course to the government of India for helping us out, helping your Filipino brothers and sisters. Thank you so much. So India is a major trading partner of the Philippines, particularly in the pharmaceutical, IT, BPO, and even defense. And our trading relation is rapidly expanding. Which areas or industry can India and Philippines further grow our trading ties?
Well, as you mentioned, healthcare and pharmaceuticals, especially after the pandemic, has become very important. I think there's a great priority on trying to make pharmaceuticals more affordable and more accessible to people. And just about 10 days ago, we had a very interesting launch in the Philippines, where there's an Indian company that is a health tech startup. And what they've done is they've used very regular thermal scanners with artificial intelligence to screen for breast cancer in a very non-invasive way.
Wow.
And that brings down the cost by about 1/10 of what it is. So what we're having is this sort of focus on trying to bring in new technology-driven applications that can help reduce the burden on people in the healthcare sector. The IT BPO sector is also very promising. This sector has grown even during the pandemic. There was double-digit growth. And I think this sector is changing. Younger people need to be trained better to be able to access this sector. So I think this is another area where we can work together. As you know, Indian companies are very big presence in the IT BPO sector in the Philippines. We kind of have a very strong shared partnership in this sector. So I think this sector will be again an area of great interest. There are Indian companies in airports, like as you know, the Cebu airport. The partnership was with an Indian company. They also worked on the Clark airport. We can look at infrastructure projects. We are having a conversation with the government of Philippines as to some things in some projects in the railway sector, for example. You could see investments in infrastructure. So you could also see investments in various other activities across the economic space, because as you might be aware, your readers might be aware, that India is now the 5th largest economy in the world, and very soon we hope to be the 3rd largest economy, and we are next door to the Philippines. And this means that across the different sectors, we will find more business cooperation between India and the Philippines.
And speaking of IT, we understand there will be a big event sometime on the 27th of this month in India, in New Delhi, showcasing all the IT companies.
Yes.
Can you please...
we have these trade events that are there in India from time to time, and this is an event where we are inviting software and technology companies to come and attend. We would hope that more Philippines businesses would look at visiting India for these trade fairs and understanding what's happening.
We gathered that several businessmen are scheduled to visit.
We just last month we had a very successful electrical exhibition, and for the first time we had a strong Philippines presence.
Ambassador, you mentioned that, of course, the Philippines and India are two of the fastest growing economies in the world. The Indian economy is forecasted to be the number 3 top in the world in the next couple of years, and the Philippines is also moving at the top of the economic ladder. But of course, you've also mentioned that both sides of our fences, there are sectors in our population that needs more assistance through innovation. So with that, having said that, in terms of investments, the Philippine-Indian relations in that area, how can we further improve our investment relationship so that we can both achieve our goal of climbing higher in the economic ladder, while at the same time providing inclusive growth to our sectors that needs more assistance?
Yeah, so our analysis is that the primary objective is to try and expand the knowledge about what's happening in each other's economies among the business communities, which is why we in the embassy over the past 2 years, we've done a virtual and hybrid and physical nearly 30 events to bring together more than 1,000 business representatives over these events from both countries. And I think I can already see that this conversation is beginning to have an impact in terms of how Indian companies are coming in here. For example, in the healthcare space, there's an Indian company which is setting up dialysis centers in the Philippines, Nefru Plus. And they have scaled up from 0 in 2 years ago to 24 centers now.
Oh, wow.
And they have much more new centers coming up. If you look at the entire spectrum of the healthcare, medical devices, pharmaceutical sector, that's very promising. The IT and BPO sector is very promising. But even beyond that, chemical sector, there's been investments. There have been investments. One of our largest conglomerates, Wipro, has invested more than $200 million a few years ago in the Philippines to take up the Splash Corporation. They're doing cosmetics and other products. So essentially, I think as we have more information and more exchanges, investment opportunities will begin to get realized.
And our contributors, for the information of our contributors, there are a lot of India businesses, business owners who are investing in the Philippines, and soon they will be a
road show, a caravan.
A road show, yeah, a road show, and that will be, I think on the 27th will be in Lawag.
In Lawag, Ilocos.
Oh, so mga katibu, we should be thankful that we have a friendly neighbor.
Where we don't have any real estate issues.
So anyway, the Philippine-India trade relations are anchored in the ASEAN-India Free Trade Area, or AIFTA, Ambassador, which came into effect in 2011. What have been the gains of both countries from AIFTA?
I think this has provided the framework for our companies to trade with each other better. And if you see the trade relationship between the Philippines and India, it has grown nearly 3 times from the time that free trade agreement was launched, the ASEAN-India Free Trade Agreement. But we want to be more ambitious. So which is why we've proposed that we go into a preferential trade agreement between India and the Philippines. And this will allow us to have a focused liberalization of tariffs and also look at some of the non-tariff issues that are there in ongoing discussions to ensure that our exporters are not, shall we say, able to access the market at the same terms as our other exporters. So we will provide more competition and thereby offer more to each other's markets and our consumers. So generally, I think the idea is that we will continue to work on trade liberalization, building on the ASEAN-India Free Trade Agreement, which is also being reviewed shortly. And I think the PTA will provide a short-term boost in terms of expanding access in areas of interest. We do hope that we can take up this discussion on a preferential trade agreement soon.
So talking about this preferential trade agreement between India and the Philippines, but there's also the RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Enhanced Partnership, with at least 18 members, I think, and India is not a member of that. So does India prefer to have a PTA with the Philippines instead of just or joining RCEP, which also includes this kind of framework?
Yeah, so we had obviously taken a considered decision not to join RCEP because we felt that some arrangements, some parts of that arrangement would not be very beneficial to the industrial development in India. So at the same time, we are very open to having more trade and freer trade. It is that we would, in that context, we would like to have, and we've had recently very successful conclusion of trade negotiations with the UAE and with Australia. We are having ongoing discussions with the UK, with the European Union, with Canada. And I think the Philippines, as a growing economy, we would really like to see a more focused effort on the part of both governments to open up the markets for each other's products. And that is why we want to bring in this PTA. So it is not really linked to what we did with RCEP, except in the sense that we were not comfortable with some parts of what the RCEP agreement brought to the table. So we didn't join that. But we would definitely like to have more trade. We would like our companies to be more globalized and integrated.
Do you have a specific industries that you want to be included in the PTA?
Well, at the moment, we have not got to the point where we'll exchange lists, but definitely there are a range of industries that we would like to see covered under this, wherein we feel that we have competitive advantages. And I'm sure the Philippine side will also come up with some lists of what they feel that their competitive advantages and would like to access this multi-trillion-dollar Indian market.
What shared benefits, Ambassador, or strength do you think both our nation will have in pursuing PTA?
Well, I think what we want to see is that, of course, we want to expand our trade. relations. So a PTA will provide an incentive for greater trade by opening up some identified sectors for greater access. So Philippines products will enjoy some greater access in some sectors of your interest in India and vice versa. The other thing that we want to say is that we want to signal, as I'm saying, to our business communities that both governments see this. And even when we had this telephone conversation recently between Prime Minister Modi of India and President Marcos of the Philippines, both the leaders were very keen to try and push forward this business partnership, the economic partnership. So the PTA is both substantively important, but also important as a signal to show that both governments are keen to promote this relationship.
So how's the progress in discussion regarding that PTA? Is it moving forward?
We obviously had a period where we wanted to move forward. Then there was a time when we, from the Indian side, we had to review some of the commitments that we had made. But I think we are looking at the possibility of resuming this conversation in the near future.
Do you have does both sides have do both sides have a
like a time
timetable,
frame?
time frame for?
Well, at the moment,
conclusion of
there's
this?
no specific time frame agreed, but an early time frame is what we are looking at.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
We're
definitely.
looking forward to that too.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have that to strengthen not only for business, but also to strengthen our
Relationship, people-to-people
relation-
relationship, and of course military-to-military
Yes.
relationship.
And speaking of people-to-people relations, we know that all Asians have somehow similarity in culture. What do you think? And by the way, Ambassador, how do you find Filipino people, before we talk about the culture, our similarities, how do you find Filipino people?
Filipino
In
people
general.
are extraordinarily friendly.
Extraordinary friendly.
And I would say they are very, very, very generous in spirit. I think you have very admirable qualities there. And I have always admired your ability to also be, shall we say, very welcoming of foreigners in this country. It's a very wonderful place to live and work in.
Oh, that's nice to know.
Yes, that's nice to hear.
That's nice to
Yeah,
know.
yeah, thank you.
But Ambassador, how do our countries have somehow similarity in culture? How do we?
And food.
Yes. Oh, I love their food.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was just cooking their chicken.
Curry.
Yes.
Well, I don't know whether you're aware, but many hundreds of years ago, India and the Philippines had a lot of exchanges. And if you look at some of the languages in the Philippines, some of the words in the Filipino language, they have Sanskrit roots. So things like mukha or dukha, various words have very clear Sanskrit roots, which should suggest that we had a lot of interactions thousands of years ago.
In the past.
And there are some artifacts that have been discovered in the Philippines, like the Laguna copper plate or the Agusan Tara. All of these have very strong connections with Indian culture. So Indian culture was connected with Southeast Asia very actively thousands of years ago.
We have the land, what is it? The land bridge.
The land bridge has been talked about, but there were definitely lots of maritime
interaction,
cooperation. And we'd like to bring back that spirit. What's happening now is that there is, because of social media and a lot of awareness among the people, and as you rightly said, the last 3-4 years, I've seen a lot of Indian restaurants opening up in the Philippines. And there's a lot of interest in Indian food. People are beginning to experiment a little bit, and
they appreciate it more now.
That's right. And I do hope that there'll be more Filipino restaurants in India also, so the Indians can also experience Filipino cuisine.
So, speaking of both nations, both India and the Philippines, rediscovering our shared culture, our shared ties that have been fostered thousands of years ago. What other shared aspirations both countries have as a nation, especially in keeping peace in the South Pacific region or in the Indo-Pacific region?
Yeah, so this
Only
is
the area where we have a problem with real estate.
This is an area, yes. This is an area where I think both countries have a lot of common concerns. And the good thing is that we have moved from just having shared concerns to doing something about it. So last year we signed a major contract to supply shore-based missiles,
BrahMos, the
BrahMos missiles to the Philippines. And I think this is a concrete manifestation. This is the first time that India has sold this capability to a friendly country. And obviously we do see this as enhancing the national security interests of the Philippines, your defense interests.
Yeah.
And definitely we would like to see more engagement between our militaries, joint exercises. Already we have had an expansion in defense training. There are a lot of Philippine officials going into defense training institutions. Indian officers are being trained in the Philippines. The last year we had 3 senior officers in the Philippines for training. So between the military to military engagement and the defense industrial engagement, we would like to commit to a strong support for Philippines in addressing your national security challenges.
We also share the same support to India in your real estate problem in the Kashmir region. With that same country that we have a big problem with.
Thank you.
At mga katribo, marami pa tayong itatanong sa ating mahal na bisita na His Excellency, the Ambassador of India to the Philippines, pagkatapos po ng ilang paalala.
Iba ng panahon, ang dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ano bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy it sa centers, pati sa mga partners, may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all.
Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayan.
Nasa kamay mo ang swerte, ngunit hindi ito isang laro na para lang sa'yo. Dahil bukod sa pag-asang maging milyonaryo, ang pagtangkilik mo sa loto at ipapang produkto ng PCSO ay nakakalikom ng pondo para sa mga programang pangkalusugan, tulong at serbisyong medikal at kawang-gawa.
Kasal, lahat ng minimithi makakamtan sa PCSO.
And we're back.
You're still watching
Gising
Gising
Na!
Na! Still here with us is His Excellency. Well, Excellency, I think I would like to give the table because he has been asking the ambassador while we're on break. So, okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tribune Chinky. Off camera, sir, we've discussed, Your Excellency, we've discussed our common problem with China. You have a problem with China in that Kashmir region, and we have, of course, a very critical problem with China regarding the West Philippine Sea, which they call South China Sea. So how do you think, how do you suggest we both nations address that issue, that we can address issue while at the same time de-escalating the tensions in both regions?
Well, I think we already have a very strong exchange of views in terms of this set of developments that you mentioned. Obviously, we have an unresolved boundary question with the Chinese, and of late there have been developments there which are of concern. And obviously, I have seen that there are many developments in the West Philippine Sea which are causing a lot of concern in the Philippines. We do have a exchange diplomatically where we do talk about what has been happening and how we've been responding. And I think the lesson that we in India have learned is that we have to have a very firm and robust response to ensure that our interests are safeguarded.
Okay. Thank you so much.
He's really a very good, he's so eloquent. The
Yeah.
first time I talked to him and he explained something to me and I said, the ambassador is eloquent. Well, anyway, Ambassador, will you please tell us a little bit more about the Yoli Festival and if you have any parting words to our Katribos?
So the Holi Festival, which is coming up day after tomorrow,
Yeah, the Holi Festival.
is a festival that showcases the vibrancy of India in a very unique manner. You find that there's a lot of color. People are totally chilled out, enjoying. It's a spring festival, so it's a festival of hope. It's a festival of friendship where everybody's celebrating with each other, and there's a lot of color and a lot of vibrancy. So it's in a sense an emblem of India's civilizational diversity and vibrancy. And it's also being celebrated in some parts of the Philippines, and the Indian community is doing it along with their Filipino friends. So it's really become a global festival now.
Wow, I wish we
Nice.
could go there. Yeah, very colorful.
We will
Yeah.
cover that one of these days. Any parting shot, Excellency, to our people and also to yours? Anything you'd like to convey before?
Well, the only thing I want to say is that India is next door to you in the Philippines. We see the maritime spaces as bridges that connect us. And we are a friendly democracy. We have a very warm relationship between our people. So all I'd like to see is that we do more together, and that we do more business, we do more trade, we have more tourism, and our people learn from each other's development experiences. Of course, we will work together as governments on political issues, global issues, regional issues, and to help each other, both in terms of developmental aspirations and national security aspirations. It's a very promising relationship. It's the best ever, but it can be much better.
Okay, thank you so much. We also want to do more with you about everything. Defense, culture, business, investments, trade, everything. And tourism, of course.
Thank you.
So, mga katribo, yan po ang ating bisita ngayon, ang ating special, the Knowing More, Discovering India. And of course, the highlight of which is the Holi Festival that we hope every one of us will experience sooner or later. And thank you so much,
Thank you. Maraming
Excellency,
salamat,
for gracing our show.
Maraming
And we
salamat,
hope
and
to see more of you here.
And more of India.
And more of India.
More of
here
India. The
in
amazing
any of our-
India.
Yes.
Namaste and mabuhay.
Thank you very much. At mga katribo, sa aming pagbabalik, ipapaalala naman natin sa ating mga katribo ang ating I Speak question of the day. Kaya manatiling nakatutok dito lang sa Gising Na!
With Globe, our steps can lead us to millions of doors opening, millions of paths unfolding, and millions of reasons to keep going. Now's the time to be with a network that gets better every day for you.
Nasa kamay mo ang swerte, ngunit hindi ito isang laro na para lang sa'yo. Dahil bukod sa pag-asang maging milyonaryo, ang pagtangkilik mo sa loto at ipapang produkto ng PCSO ay nakakalikom ng pondo para sa mga programang pangkalusugan, tulong at serbisyong medikal at kawang-gawa.
Kasal, lahat ng minimithi makakamtan sa PCSO.
Katribo, balik tayo dito sa Gising
Gising
Na!
Na!
Ang saya na, ang ganda ng marami tayong nalaman kay Ambassador. It's new information, more information. At nakakatuwa na, we are strengthening our ties na talagang
Libong taon na pala.
Oo naman,
Oo,
nung una pa. Oo. At
Nung
para
unang
naman
panahon.
sa ating I Speak of the Day, dapat bang ituloy ang jeepney modernization? Kaya mga katribo, mag-message na kayo sa aming number na 0968-670-4650 at mag-comment na rin sa aming Facebook page na Daily Tribune. So kayong dalawa, katribong Kim and Comfy.
Oo. Kasi ang problema sa sa jeepney, yung kultura nila mismo eh. Nagbabad, nagsasakay kung saan-saan. Tapos kulturang gulangan, kulturang unahan, kulturang balahuraan sa kalsada. Ang
Balahuraan.
ang kagandahan kasi sa modernization program to na inisyatibo ni dating Transportation Secretary Artogade, pati yung kultura ng mga drivers ay babaguhin. Hindi mo lang minomodernize yung sasakyan na ginagamit, kundi yung kultura mismo nila. Magiging swelduhan sila, so hindi na sila kailangan mag-boundary. Naka-uniforme sila, maayos, di ba? Dissenting tignan. At yung jeepney mismo, maayos, may air condition, may saksakan ng wifi, ng charger mo. So, hindi nila dahil doon, hindi mo ngayon kailangan magkipag-unahan sila, hindi mo kailangan magbalahuraan, mawawala yung ganung kultura na nila.
Ikaw, katribong Kimi.
Simple lang yung sagot ko. Regardless kung sino nakaupo dyan, I am in favor of ma-modernize yung jeepney natin. Yun lang yun. Wala nang reason anything. Basta agree ako dyan.
Ako walang question. Yes to modernization, be it sa jeepney, be it sa agriculture lalo na, at ganun din sa ating sandatahang lakas. Oo.
And katulong natin ng India.
At katulong natin ng India. At nakakatuwa na marami tayong hindi alam na ginagawa pala nila bilang tulong sa ating mga lokal na pamahalaan. And recently, yun nga ang nabanggit, na meron silang sinaynan na agreement para bilang grant sa ating mga local government.
Game changer yun, binagay na yung binanta nila sa ating Bramos. Game changer sa South China Sea yan.
Tama. At ngayong Lunes, panoorin ang Usapang Business, alas 3 po yan, at The Athletes Tribune mamayang alas 7:30 ng gabi sa Daily Tribune's official Facebook at YouTube channel.
At para namang sa ating quote of the day, as you follow what energizes you and focus on doing what you want to, you'll see that the difference between play and work dissolves. Galing yan kay Shakti Gawain. Ayon. At syempre, hello sa lahat ng mga nanood. At bukas isa-isahin namin kayo. Thank you so much for all your support. Ang daing nanood, ang daing nakinig, ang daing nag-message sa akin who are watching sa Radyo Bandido at ganun din sa DZRJ 810 AM. Maraming salamat po. At yan ang kabuuan ng ating balita at istorya ngayong umaga. Samahan nyo kaming muli bukas, Martes, para sa mga latest news and happenings. Ako po ang love kayo, si Chinky Mangkukang.
At Queen Kim Sancha.
At ako naman si Coffee Manalo at ito ang
Gising Na!
Top CRMS o Trusted Operator Program, Container Registry and Monitoring System ay isa sa mga proyekto ng Philippine Ports Authority or PPA na nagnanais maibsan ang bigat na pasanin ng mga Pilipinong mangangalakal dulot ng pangdaigdigang pagtaas ng mga presyo ng bilihin at serbisyo na kapisan na pag-aangkat na iba't ibang uri ng produkto na nagmumula sa ibayong dagat. Bumubuo ito ng atmosphere of trust sa mga kabilang na stakeholders sa sektor ng logistic, kung saan makikita sa top CRMS ang status ng paggalaw ng mga container at ang bawat party na responsable dito. Ang mga magrerehistro sa Trusted Operator Program ay magkakaroon ng mga pribilehiyong mapadali ang transaksyon sa mga daungan ng PPA. Isa sa mga ito ay ang sistema na maaaring gamitin ng truck operators upang mapabilis na maserbisyuhan ang pagdala at paghatid ng mga container imports, exports at empties. Bago dumating ang barko sa mga daungan ng Pilipinas, sa ilalim ng pamamahala ng PPA, kakailanganing irehistro sa container registry ang mga foreign containers para mabigyan ng visibility ang stakeholders, pati na rin ang gobyerno sa tunay na daloy ng trapiko sa mga pantalan. Isa sa ipapatupad ng CRMS ay ang Container Protection Insurance para sa mga paparating na containers mula sa ibang bansa. Poproteksyonan nito ang container kung saan di nakakailanganin ng importers na magbayad ng container deposit na karaniwang nagkakahalaga ng 10 to 30,000 pesos. Sa kaganapang mawala o tuluyang masira ang container, maaaring mag-claim ang container owner sa insurance service provider. Kaakibat ng top CRMS ay ang container monitoring na aalamin ang lokasyon ng container mula sa paglabas nito sa daungan, makarating sa warehouse ng importer, maibalik sa designated container yard or depot at hanggang mailabas muli sa Pilipinas. Dagdag dito, magtatalaga ang PPA ng container staging facility na magsisilbing lugar para sa pagbalik o pagsaoli ng mga empty containers at para na rin sa mga nakatakdang ireposisyon na containers palabas ng bansa. Ito ay matatagpuan sa labas ng Metro Manila na naglalayong makatulong maibsan ang trapiko sa lungsod at madagdagan ang container yard or depot na maaaring gamitin ng mga nakarehistro sa top CRMS. Ayon sa direktiba ni Presidente Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. tungo sa digital transformation, ang top CRMS ay makatutulong sa whole-of-government approach bilang pinanggagalingan ng mga datos upang ma-regulate ang tuluyang pagtaas ng mga bilihin.